Right now on Morning News Now, tragedy in Philadelphia. 5 people are dead after a late-night mass shooting stretching several city blocks. What we're learning from police about the victims and the 2 people now in custody. Frustration on this 4th of July as severe weather slams several states from the Central Plains and Midwest to the Northeast. Meanwhile, millions of people under heat alerts again this morning for another day of triple-digit temps. All this as the holiday travel crush continues. We'll bring you team coverage. Also this morning, a story of love and loss, sort of. Online scammers targeting dates and clearing out their bank accounts. Instead, the warning now from officials and what you can do to protect yourself. And mushrooms as medicine. Australia becomes the first country in the world to legalize psychedelics as treatment for certain mental health conditions. More on the move and what it could mean in the future. Good morning. Happy 4th of July. Thank you so much for joining us on a holiday. I'm Savannah Sellers. Joe is off today. We begin this morning with yet another mass shooting in America. This one in Philadelphia. Police are investigating after the shooting left at least 5 people dead and 2 others injured. It happened last night when police say a 40-year-old gunman wearing body armor opened fire in a neighborhood before being taken into custody when he was cornered in an alley. Our Philadelphia station WCAU reports the shooting scene covered several blocks.
This male was wearing a bulletproof vest with multiple magazines in the vest. He also had a scanner and an AR-style rifle and a handgun underneath his body.
Another person who police believe may have picked up a gun and returned fire is also in custody. 3 weapons in all were recovered in connection with the shooting. There is no word yet on a motive. We will stay on this breaking story throughout the morning. And not a severe weather that's threatening some 4th of July celebrations from coast to coast. Last night, parts of the South and the Northeast saw strong winds and torrential rain. These images were taken of an intense rain shower that passed over Midtown Manhattan. South Dakota was also hit with severe weather. This funnel cloud, look at this image. It was spotted across the Missouri River. And in Kentucky, the cleanup continues after storms tore through parts of the state over the weekend, taking down trees and knocking out power to thousands.
Everywhere. So with it raining so hard, you couldn't come outside, but we heard some loud noises. Me personally, it sounded like a little mini train.
Meanwhile, millions of Americans are still dealing with oppressive heat. Cities like Las Vegas, cities like Phoenix, they are expected to top triple digits again today. And several cooling shelters have been opened throughout the state of Nevada. All of this, it of course comes amid a summer travel boom. This 4th of July holiday, it's expected to be the first in which we see U.S. air traffic exceed pre-COVID levels, not even just meet. We have team coverage for you this morning, and we're going to begin with NBC News meteorologist Angie Lastman with your 4th of July forecast. Of course, Angie, tell us what we can expect. Are we getting fireworks later? What's happening across the country?
Yeah, some spots are going to have great conditions for fireworks. We'll talk about that in a moment, Savannah, but we've got to, of course, touch on the heat that we're seeing, and it's dangerous in some spots. We've got 31 million people impacted. This number has grown significantly since the early morning hours. You see places like Phoenix still under that heat warning. That's going to go through the day today and likely into tomorrow. We also will see Portland, places like Medford continue with that heat advisory, and that goes for Raleigh, Jacksonville, and extending down through the southern peninsula of Florida. These temperatures are going to be warm once again into the triple digits for some, mainly folks in the southwest. Places like Phoenix, 112 again today. Santa Fe heads to 94 degrees. Check out Portland, 97 degrees. We are running 20 degrees above normal for folks in that area through the day today. This afternoon, if you're celebrating trying to barbecue in Kansas City, 95 degrees and 93 in Chicago. So some really warm conditions. Cold front's going to work through and back into parts of the plains by tomorrow. We'll see places like Denver see a 22-degree drop. Temperatures ending up in just the 60s tomorrow afternoon. Upper 80s, though, to the east of that cold front. Ahead of it, you'll see temperatures anywhere from the low 90s in places like New York and Roanoke to the upper 80s across the Midwest. This is going to be something that kind of moderates out by the time we get into the end of our work week and get back into the swing of things after this holiday. But again, again, it's going to be a warm one across much of the area for folks that are celebrating 4th of July, especially during those warmest parts of the day today. And we've got some rain and potentially some strong storms to talk about. So let's focus on the rain first. Some of these showers working through parts of the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic, they're going to be scattered really across much of the eastern third of the country. We've got some stronger storms that we're going to monitor through parts of the plains and extending back into the Rockies. When we take a look at what's exactly going on, here's the front that we're watching that's keeping it kind of unsettled for the east. And you can see some of this fires up here as we get into those later afternoon hours. We're not expecting severe weather with this part of those storms that we're tracking, but we could still see some heavy rain and potentially some lightning and definitely some interruptions to those outdoor plans for the afternoon hours today. This is the area, though, that we're going to watch for stronger storms to develop that could be dangerous. We'll have the potential for some strong wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour, or even higher than that, hail up to an inch in diameter or even larger than that, and of course some isolated tornadoes. It does include cities like Minneapolis and Denver, and unfortunately these are going to be some of the spots that's going to be difficult for that firework display later this afternoon and into the evening hours. There's those rainfall amounts through Wednesday. You'll see some high amounts in places like Omaha, Kansas City. We could reach up to isolated amounts up to 3 inches, so that'll be impressive rain there. Just watch for that. Places like the Northeast as well, you could see some minor flooding. Don't drive through those flooded roadways, of course, always a good reminder. But the big picture look, the record heat is holding on out west, but plenty of sunshine. I mean, as long as you've got a way to beat the heat out west, it looks like a pretty nice day, sky conditions wise. It's those isolated storms, though, that we'll have to watch along the Gulf Coast. And then here's the big forecast that I think everybody on social media has asked me for. Temperatures in LA, 60 degrees, Savannah. It looks great there. Phoenix, just a little farther to the east, 101. And this is at 9 p.m. tonight. But you'll notice there's still some showers and potentially some thunderstorms for Minneapolis to Denver. We'll watch for potential interruptions. But I'm happy about New York's forecast. 76 degrees. We'll have a little cloud cover, but some clear skies overhead as well. And hopefully that rain will get out of the picture in time for the fireworks show.
60 feels low for LA, right?
Yeah, it is a little on the cooler side. We've seen things kind of fluctuate there, but at least it's not the 101 that Phoenix is dealing with.
That's right. Lots of happy people following you on Instagram right now, right?
Exactly. There you go.
Fireworks across the board. Thanks, Angie. See you in a bit. Now let's get to NBC News correspondent Guad Venegas at Miami-Dade County. Hey, Guad, good morning. So it is another day, as we were just hearing, of dangerous heat for a lot of the country. What precautions should people take if they're planning on celebrating outside today? What's it like where you are?
Savannah, good morning. It is hot and humid, as it's usually at this time of the year here in South Florida. Authorities always have the advice for people to, of course, stay hydrated, also to apply sunscreen for those that are going to be out in the sun, especially people out on the beach, and, of course, find some shade throughout the day if you're going to be out in the sun. And, Savannah, as somebody who grew up in Southern California, I grew up in the desert in temperatures of 100 to 110 degrees. I can't tell you how often we would see people to come visit the area, or people that go to beaches who normally don't live there, who forget to apply sunscreen and stay hydrated, because the heat will creep up of individuals that might be partying or celebrating 4th of July. So those are the very important things that authorities are always advising for those that are planning to spend the day in the sun, Savannah.
Absolutely. You should wear sunscreen all the time, not even just when you're going to hit the beach or something like that. We're going to talk about summer skin a little later in our show, Guad. You could stick around for that. Help us out with that segment, too. But great reminders, and you're right about staying hydrated. It's so important. I know some cities are dealing with extreme heat waves, though, too, and they've had to make these alternative plans for their fireworks displays. We heard a little bit about this from Angie, but there's these fears that these dry conditions could ultimately spark wildfires. We had a great story in our show yesterday about drones being used instead. Tell us about some of those changes.
That's right. So drones are being used in places like Salt Lake City. They're using these drones because, of course, fireworks pose this danger. And it's not only because of wildfires, it's also because of the noise and the pollution that can be caused by the fireworks in Arizona. They're using lasers. So it's a use of technology. Some cities like here in Southern Florida, they're actually mixing fireworks with drones. Some of the pets here, for the people that live around the area and the beach area, will be scared. We all know the way dogs can sometimes react with the sound of fireworks. So it's a good option for some places for many reasons, not just because of that drought and the danger of wildfires. And very important to keep in mind, after the wet winter that places like the West Coast had, there has been a lot of growth of vegetation, and that also creates more dangers. And that's why authorities in many places are being extra careful as we head into the summer and what will become that fire season into the later part of the year, Savannah.
Absolutely. Also, Guad, I mean, I do think that the heat's probably going to send a lot of people to beaches like you're at right now to celebrate or to try to cool off? How big are crowds that we're expecting to see at shore towns like Miami, where you are?
Oh, well, the sun just came up here, right? So it's still very quiet, but we expect this to be packed as everywhere else here in South Florida. Now, Miami Beach, of course, the most popular beach destination in America. According to Hopper.com, it is the #1 beach city when it comes to flights and also hotel bookings. We spoke with the Miami Airport Authority, who told us they expect to process about 1 million passengers going through the Miami Beach International Airport throughout the holiday weekend. So we have the crowds that have arrived already and are expected to come out today. Miami Beach City Police said they do have extra police officers on bicycles, in vehicles, and also walking around to provide more safety. And of course, the advice for people, especially tourists that perhaps are not too familiar with the beaches, if they plan to go in the ocean, always do it near a lifeguard, or if there's a lifeguard tower, you can always approach the lifeguard and talk to them about any possible rip currents or shark sightings now that there's been more shark encounters. But of course, the #1 danger for people that come to the beach and go in the ocean are rip currents. These are the most dangerous thing to watch for individuals, especially people that aren't too familiar with the beach or the water that are coming out for vacation. But the advice is to just do it, come to the beach, and if you're going to swim, do it near a lifeguard that will always provide some information on the conditions. Savannah.
Really good safety tips throughout your reporting, Guad. Thank you so much. And yeah, those shark attacks, another one overnight here in New York on Long Island. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Guad, thank you so much. Happy 4th. Stay safe, stay cool. Well, according to travel experts, this past weekend was one of the busiest 4th of July periods on record, not even just compared to COVID, when it comes to air travel. And even though we are coming to the end of the holiday weekend, don't get too comfortable, because ripple effects from those mass cancellations and flight delays, they might still linger. Katie Nastro is a travel expert at Going, and she joins us now with what to expect moving forward. Hey, Katie, good to see you. Thank you for joining us on the 4th. So do we know why it was that travel picked up so much this past weekend in particular, and any tips for people who are headed to an airport today?
Sure. You know, this travel year is one for the books. Not only did we see the highest day on record last Friday, looking at June alone, air travel numbers have outpaced 2019 by more than 500,000. So really, this is the first year that we are fully past pandemic concerns and prioritizing travel despite economic concerns. And so for all intents and purposes, people are traveling, quote unquote, normally again, and potentially making up for lost time.
Are folks who maybe aren't traveling today, what should they be thinking about in the future? Maybe they've got vacations in the next couple of days or weeks. You know, of course, it's still summer travel season. Just because the 4th of July holiday weekend's over doesn't mean the travel's not. So will we start to see this kind of calm down, or is there really just no new normal anymore when it comes to travel? Are there too many unknowns?
It's not so much that there's too many unknowns. I definitely think that, look, summer is a peak season. There are going to be a lot of people coming through airports, you know, getting on flights. And so I think people shouldn't avoid traveling altogether. You know, yes, you should definitely be aware that it is going to be a very busy season. We've already seen that with this past weekend and moving forward. And so I think, you know, if you really want to, you know, kind of prepare yourself the best, you know, obviously getting to the airport early. But if you're worried about things like flight disruptions, prioritize nonstop flights as well as morning flights to give yourself the best odds at just making it to your destination on time.
Absolutely. All right, we got to ask you about deals before you go. Where are the best deals to be found right now?
Sure. For all of us who haven't booked our summer travel yet, good news, there are deals still to be had. For all of us who are a little bit outdoorsy, Going just found a great deal from New York to Salt Lake City for $198 round trip, Nashville to Nantucket for $161 round trip. Take advantage of those beautiful beaches, during and escape the humidity from Nashville, as well as Houston to Costa Rica for $265 round trip if you want something international. A lot of great deals coming from Latin America and South America right now. All round trip, all on full service airlines, all for dates throughout July and August. So there are definitely still deals to be had for this summer.
Wow, those are some impressive prices. All right, Katie Nastro, thank you so much and happy 4th.
Happy 4th. Thanks so much.
Well, today marks 1 year since a gunman armed with a semi-automatic rifle opened fire on a 4th of July parade in Highland Park, Illinois. 7 people were killed and dozens of others were wounded when a gunman fired more than 80 rounds at the crowd. Today, the city will hold several vigils and host a dedication for a tree of life planted as a symbol of the community's resilience. Now, the trial for the suspect here could be set in September. And turning to the Middle East now, and for a second straight day, Israel is continuing its massive military assault on the Jenin refugee camp in the occupied West Bank. This morning, an Israeli presidential advisor said Israel was close to completing its operation there, which it says is aimed at rooting out militants. Health officials say at least 10 Palestinians have been killed in the raid and 100 have been left injured. Thousands of Palestinians have also been forced to flee the densely populated camp, while UN aid agencies expressed alarm at the scale of the raid, saying first responders were being prevented from reaching the injured. Joining us now is Brett Bruen. He's the president of the Global Situation Room and the former director of global engagement for the Obama White House. Oh, Brett, thank you so much for joining us this morning, especially on a holiday. We appreciate it. This is Israel's biggest military operation in the occupied West Bank in years. We've seen that tension sort of simmering for a while, but we're actually seeing this unfold now. How worried are you by the scale of this assault, and do you think that Israel should be showing more restraint?
Well, Savannah, what worries me in particular is what comes after this. As you mentioned, the advisors to Israel's prime minister are suggesting that this may be wrapping up. But we've already got word today of a Palestinian man in North Tel Aviv who rammed his car into a number of civilians, injuring several of them. I think this kind of response is what has me worried that we may see a reaction, especially because, as you said, of the scale of this operation, the impact it has had on Palestinians, both in Jenin and more broadly across the West Bank.
Let's talk about America's sort of role in this. Yesterday, we heard the U.S. repeat a message that we have heard many times before, that Israel has a right to defend itself, while, though, adding that civilian casualties should be avoided. What do you think about what the Biden administration is doing here? Is it enough to de-escalate?
Well, they're going to provide, as administrations throughout recent U.S. history have, a wide latitude for Israel to defend itself. However, Prime Minister Netanyahu has lost a lot of credibility, a lot of status in Washington, especially with the Biden administration, because of both the extremists he's put into his cabinet and some of his policies, some of his actions, especially when it comes to Israeli settlers in places like the West Bank. So I think you're going to see less latitude than in the past. I think the Biden administration, however, has to step up and do more. We've seen them engage in what I've called this detached diplomacy when it comes to places like Israel. They need to start searching for solutions. Otherwise, we are going to see more of these kinds of crisis situations popping up and potentially engaging in a broader unrest in Israel and beyond.
When you say they need to do more, and when you say search for other solutions, what do you mean by that? What are some options?
Well, I think first and foremost, we've got to look for ways that we can engage and hopefully empower Palestinian officials, notably the Palestinian Authority, who've lost a whole lot of standing amongst their own people because they've been so sidelined, both during the Trump administration, but we haven't really seen the ability of Palestinian leaders to advance the process, to give hope to those hundreds of thousands of Palestinians who are living in these refugee camps, who are living under very difficult conditions. We've got to find a way to move forward, both with the Israelis as well as with the Palestinians.
And what do you think might happen next in the occupied West Bank?
Well, as I said, what is worrying to me is the reaction, I think, both from Hamas as well as from other individuals like we saw this afternoon in Israel, who are just acting out of a sense of frustration, desperation, and that could also reverberate beyond Israel's borders across the Middle East. And this is where, as Americans, I think we have to look at how we are working towards solutions, how we are engaging in some sort of diplomacy that doesn't just let this problem continue to percolate, as I think we have over the last several years.
Brett, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate your expertise this morning.
Sure thing.
Well, there's a new financial reality facing 43 million Americans after the Supreme Court ruled last week against President Biden's plan to wipe away up to $20,000 in federal student loan debt. Well, payments are set to resume in the fall, but there are ways for those who've been on that pause to soften the blow. NBC's Tom Costello explains.
After a 3-year payment hiatus during COVID, the clock is ticking down to a potential wallet buster. The Supreme Court decision means borrowers must resume paying off their entire student loans starting October 1st.
I planned on saving for my home, possibly starting a family.
30-year-old Sharon Elliott still has $20,000 in loans. Just married, he and his wife must now put their plans on hold.
My wife also has $53,000 student loans as well, so we're both going to be set back.
With interest rates averaging nearly 5%, experts urge borrowers to make more than the minimum payment.
If you make the minimum payment on your student debt, you're going to be carrying that debt for a very long time.
The average student loan, $30,000. Now the Biden administration is developing a slow repayment on-ramp. Borrowers who can't make a payment for the first 12 months would not be penalized. And a plan called SAVE, an income-driven repayment program, would cut the minimum monthly payments in half, from 10% of discretionary income to 5%. After 10 years of payments, loans of $12,000 or less would be forgiven.
It's good for the economy. It's good for the country. It's going to be good for you.
Meanwhile, public service workers, including first responders, nurses, and teachers, might also qualify for loan forgiveness.
There are affordable ways to pursue college degrees, and in many professions and in many occupations, you absolutely do need those. You need those credentials to be able to pursue those careers.
College enrollment is actually dropping with fewer students and higher tuition. Financial advisors say in-state schools and 2-year community colleges can help make that degree much more affordable. Back to you.
Tom Costello, thank you so much. Well, there is much more to come this morning on Morning News Now. Later this hour, the mystery deepens after a man is found alive 8 years after going missing. What we're learning from investigators and his family. But first, after the break, actor Kevin Spacey back in court this morning. We will bring you the latest on his sexual assault trial right after the break. Welcome back. The trial of actor Kevin Spacey is continuing in London this morning. The actor arrived to court for another day of testimony. Yesterday, the first of 4 alleged victims spoke out, saying he was groped and grabbed against his will by the actor a dozen times over the course of 5 years. Spacey faces a number of allegations of sexual assault. He's pleaded not guilty to all charges. NBC News legal analyst Danny Savalas joins us now to discuss. Hi, Danny. Happy 4th. Thank you for being here. So yesterday, the court was shown a recording of a police interview with an alleged victim where he describes Spacey as a predator, says the actor tried to, quote, groom him. Walk us through the prosecution strategy by starting with this footage. What did you think about that?
Boy, what I think about is the fact that even though we borrowed our legal system from Great Britain, it often bears little resemblance, especially in a criminal trial. And nothing is more evident of that than the fact that the prosecution is playing interview tapes, which are normally something that doesn't come in unless it's against the defendant's own interview tapes, him making admissions. In this case, the state is using them. I said the state, I should say the Crown. The Crown is using these tapes to really set the stage, to describe that essentially this victim, this accuser, made a prompt report, which is something that is significant in American law, that this was something that was reported to the police or that there was a record made of it. And then going forward, that will be bolstered by the witness testimony of other witnesses, which, by the way, is very different than our system, because the purpose for these witnesses is often something that wouldn't even be allowed in the United States due to the Confrontation Clause and our rules of evidence.
Danny, this morning so far, we're hearing from witnesses connected to the first accuser. I believe so far we've heard from a former partner as well as the brother of the accuser. What can you tell us about what we've heard so far and the strategy on that?
And so that's exactly what I was talking about just before, which is that now you have the Crown introducing evidence of other people that the victim or accuser may have spoken to. Now, sometimes that'll come in American law, maybe to show that a prompt report was made. But, for example, the brother of the accuser said, essentially, my brother would never allow Kevin Spacey to do this. That's a form of character evidence, which would never really come in American legal, in American evidentiary law. But here in Great Britain, that kind of evidence is allowed. On the whole, Britain's evidence rules and other protections make it a lot easier, in my view, for the Crown to achieve a conviction in a sexual assault case.
Yeah, so Danny, I want to ask you about another one of these kind of differences between there and here, things that we might not be as familiar with when watching a trial like this unfold. Different rules there also around alleged victims of sexual offenses. In most cases, they have lifelong anonymity. What does that look like in a trial?
It's amazing because it brings to mind our American First Amendment and also the Constitution's Confrontation Clause. Now, on the one hand, the reason that most of us don't know who these victims are really isn't so much a function of the court. It's a function of a British law that restricts what the media can report about that victim. So, in a sense, it's not so much that the victim is sealed in terms of evidence, which the victim is, make no mistake about it, but also the media is threatened upon contempt of court if they release information that even allows us, the public, to piece together who the victim is. But at the same time, you have adult victims in Great Britain testifying behind a curtain, and the defendant cannot even see the victim. That's the kind of thing that just wouldn't happen in American courts. I've even had clients whose convictions were overturned based on violations of the Confrontation Clause. So this is something very different and, in my view, makes it easier for the Crown to achieve a conviction.
Danny Savalos, thank you very much. And now to an NBC News exclusive. Our chief foreign correspondent, Richard Engel, takes us inside a Taiwanese military base for a closer look at how the island's forces are preparing amid heightened tensions with China.
NBC News was given rare access to a military base in southeastern Taiwan.
I feel pressure, but this is what I do.
Where rookie pilots are preparing for what officials here see as an increasingly urgent threat from communist China to invade and strip Taiwan of democracy and autonomy.
We can all foresee there might be a war with China. That's what we are all preparing to do. We train to fight and fight and win.
Taiwanese defense officials tell NBC News a controversial trip by then Speaker Nancy Pelosi a year ago was a turning point. For China, it seemed close to recognizing Taiwan's independence. China fired 11 ballistic missiles right over the island and encircled it with warships to prove it can strangle Taiwan whenever it wants. It was a wake-up call, and Taiwan's government is now hardening its defenses, extending mandatory military service for men from 4 months to a year, making reserve training more intense and realistic, and pressing the U.S. for delivery of F-16s.
Very nice to meet you.
In Taipei, Taiwan's Foreign Minister Joseph Wu told us a Chinese invasion would have devastating impacts on the global economy.
And we need to deter the war from happening. If there's going to be a war, it will have a major impact upon the rest of the world. And that is something that we don't want to see.
Do you think that the United States would come to Taiwan's defense?
Of course, I cannot speculate whether the President of the United States is going to enter war over Taiwan or not. What we need from the United States is for Taiwan to be able to defend itself.
Taiwan would not get much notice of an attack. Chinese jets could cross the narrow Taiwan Strait in minutes. So pilots here say their main mission is readiness. Taiwanese officials do not believe an attack is imminent, but could be years away. Taiwanese military officials tell us they do not believe it's a question of if China will invade, but when. Richard Engel, NBC News.
Always fantastic reporting from Richard. Thank you. Let's stay on international headlines now. We have new developments on an American journalist jailed in Russia. NBC News foreign correspondent Ali Arouzi joins us now. Hi, Ali. Good morning.
Good morning, Savannah. That's right. American journalist Evan Gershkovich, who's been detained in Russia since the 29th of March, was allowed only his second visit by the U.S. ambassador to Russia. Ambassador Tracy said he was in good condition and remained strong. Gershkovich, who denies all charges against him, is the first Western journalist to be detained in Russia since the Cold War era. A train crash in India on the 22nd of June that killed 288 people, the worst rail disaster in the country in 2 decades, was caused by workers repairing a railroad barrier who made faulty connections in the automated signaling system on the network, according to an official probe. And finally, Barbie is not welcome in Vietnam. The highly anticipated film starring Margot Robbie has been banned by Vietnam for domestic distribution over a scene featuring a map showing China claiming territory in the South China Sea that Vietnam considers its continental shelf and where it has awarded oil concessions. Apparently, Barbie can't even avoid politics. And there's your headline, Savannah.
Wow. All right, Ali, thank you so much. Coming up, scammers romancing their victims and then clearing out their bank accounts. The warning now from officials about a scheme that's cost victims billions of dollars. And starting them young, students in New York getting a lesson in mindfulness. More on the benefits of breathing exercises in the classroom. You're watching Morning News Now. We are back now with a miraculous breakthrough in a missing person case in Texas. A 25-year-old man was found alive after going missing 8 years ago while walking his dogs. His family says he's now recovering as investigators try to piece together his disappearance. NBC News correspondent Kathy Park has the details.
A stunning update in the case of a missing teen who vanished 8 years ago near his home in Houston.
How'd this happen? Oh, we believe in miracles, and this certainly was a miracle.
The family of Rudy Farias confirming he was found alive last Thursday, and a Good Samaritan spotted the now 25-year-old unresponsive at a church and called 911. The last time she saw her son was in the spring of 2015, when he left the house with his 2 dogs and never returned. At the time, detectives did not suspect foul play and classified his disappearance as a missing persons case.
I'm scared because he's out there alone.
The recent break in Rudy's story putting a national spotlight on a troubling statistic. According to the FBI, just last year alone, there were nearly 360,000 reports of missing children. In 2015, with no sign of Rudy, family members told NBC News that he had been suffering from depression after losing his brother to a motorcycle accident.
Can't even tell you how many times we've searched and how many leads and tips came in.
Tim Miller joined many others in the search efforts to bring Rudy back home, but the leads would come up short.
In the very beginning, I met with a family and detectives out there by his house where he disappeared, and we found a backpack. We actually talked to somebody who had one of the catering trucks, which felt as though that they saw him. Then there was different possible sightings in different places.
Rudy is recovering at the hospital, his mom saying he's nonverbal while receiving care to overcome his trauma. She said Rudy was found with bruises, burns, and scrapes.
There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of investigation to kind of see what happened, where it happened, how it happened.
A push for answers as we wait to find out where he's been all these years. Kathy Park, NBC News.
Wow, what a story. All right, well, now a look at a troubling trend. Online scammers are luring people with the promise of love and then cleaning out their bank accounts with what seems to be investment advice. And this is not just a few isolated cases. A recent report by the FBI found that victims reported losing $3.3 billion last year. That's more than double the amount reported in 2021. Kevin Collier covers cybersecurity, privacy, and technology policy for NBC News, and he also just recently published original reporting on this issue, and he joins us now with more. Kevin, happy 4th. Thank you so much for being with us on a holiday morning. Let's jump right in here. How serious a problem is this?
It's overwhelming. I mean, like you mentioned, 3.4 billion, and that's just what people have reported to the FBI. The likely true numbers are much higher than that. And it's the combination of victims have lost everything they have, and that they realize they've been taken for a ride, and they've lost what they thought was a romantic partner is driving them to self-harm in many cases, unfortunately. The AARP told me that they are referring people to the National Suicide Prevention Hotline almost daily. It's an epidemic.
In your story, you also write about, in addition to the aspect of self-harm and some of these just devastating impacts beyond just financial, you also write about the fact that these are getting a lot more complex, harder to spot. I know each is different, but can you walk us through what something like this might kind of typically look like, or some of the hallmarks of these scams?
Yeah, it almost sounds a little funny, but it's a combination of, first they have to gain your trust, and often that is like a romantic partner. You start an attractive person starts messaging you, wants to switch to Telegram because that's a more unmoderated messaging platform, and then we'll kind of fatten you up for months with just kind of a personal relationship, somebody you talk with every day, often romantic. But then they will casually drop that, I've been making a lot of money investing in these complicated crypto scams. Maybe you didn't get in on Bitcoin early, but you can get in on this. And they will send you an app, and you can watch your money grow. And in many cases, even pull out small amounts. You'll donate $5,000 or invest $5,000, and then you can pull out $7,000. But then once you're kind of hooked, you're investing hundreds of thousands, and then you cannot pull it out. And victims often only realize that they've been had once they've given up absolutely everything, their 401ks, they've taken out loans on their houses, stuff like that.
Oh, my goodness, just heartbreaking. Those sound like some of the red flags. Tell us if there's anything else specific to be on the lookout for, maybe on the early end. And then what can be done here? I mean, can you call police for help with this? What can law enforcement do to help these victims?
Most people probably should call law enforcement, but they should be aware that there are recoveries, but they're rare. There are third-party companies that you can hire to track this down, but most law enforcement I've spoken with say that they don't have any tools we don't have. And often a lot of those companies are also scams. So people will pull out even more money, take more loans out to chase these kind of faulty recovery methods. You can alert the FBI, but a lot of people complain that unless you've lost a substantial amount, the FBI doesn't take up your case, in part because these are so common, they don't have the bandwidth for it.
Kevin, fantastic reporting. Really, your article is fantastic. We appreciate you again joining us on a holiday. And because you mentioned that aspect of self-harm, we do want to say if you or anyone you know is struggling, please call or text the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988. Kevin, thanks again. That's a good transition to our weekly mental health check-in. Today, we're starting down under, where a controversial new treatment has been approved for some mental health issues in Australia. Plus, with all of the gatherings this time of year, we're going to take a look at the benefits of just checking out for a bit. Dr. George James, licensed marriage and family therapist, joins us now to break all of this down for us. Of course, also a friend of the show, so we're very happy to spend this holiday morning with you, Dr. James. Thanks for being here. So let's start in Australia. As I mentioned, it's become the first country in the world to legalize the use of psychedelics and MDMA to treat some mental health conditions. Now, we've known that these trials are underway in the U.S., Canada, Israel, other places throughout the world, and we've also been bringing stories of kind of some of those breakthroughs along the way throughout these trials. So walk us through how this works, and also, are there concerns here?
Good morning, Savannah. Yes, some of the concerns might be, what if it goes wrong or what if it doesn't work? But before we get there, MDMA and mushrooms have been approved in Australia to help with depression and PTSD. Overall, the challenge is that if a patient or user has a bad trip, what will that do? The important part of this is that this is under the supervision of a psychiatrist, a therapist, someone who's going to be there with them during their use. So it's not just on their own. And hopefully people don't think they're just going to go out there and just do this themselves, because this needs to be with support and with somebody that can help them in case something goes wrong.
Absolutely. It's good to just see things being tried to help people out, especially when we are seeing some of those major breakthroughs. Doctor, also, I want to talk about something we teased a little bit ago, which is pretty cool. Some school districts across the country, right here in New York City, we're one of them, they're introducing mindful breathing to classrooms. That might be something parents, adults might not really know about, or maybe they kind of do, but aren't sure how to tackle it. What is mindful breathing? Is it something we should all be doing?
It actually is something that we should all be doing and practicing. The ability to take a breath, to take a purposeful breath, to think positively is actually really important and can be helpful. And it's something that school districts throughout the country have been trying in California, in Philadelphia, and other areas, and New York is one of those places. And it can be as effective as actually taking medication. It is something that can help people to just be in a better place. Now, it's not the only source, and it's not just one thing. You might want to do other things, especially if you're dealing with multiple symptoms. And we've seen so many people, so much increase with mental health needs, especially with our young folks. So this is one thing, and they can add others, but it can be very effective and very helpful. So I'm glad they're doing it.
Yeah, so cool. Cool to see it happening just with students in classrooms. Also, we talked a minute ago about just taking a step back. So it is summer. That means there's all kinds of parties, barbecues. Today, of course, it's a holiday. Lots of people probably spending time with family and friends. But sometimes you got to just take a step back. And of course, if there's something going on, it means it's on TikTok, and there's a trend now. It's being called having crust days. What's a crust day? And even if we don't want to call it that, is this a good idea? Is this important?
Yeah, this crust day, and even the second name, rot day, it means is just that you're allowing yourself to just develop crust, to just rot. What it means is just you're just relaxing. So this is something you and I are not practicing right now, but this is ability to just not get up, not wake up, not push yourself. And this can actually be important about recharging your body, your mind, your energy. And this is actually significant for those who are dealing with chronic illness, those who might be disabled, because sometimes we feel we have to push, do, when maybe we just need to chill, relax, do nothing, or do something recharging and maybe develop some rust or crust and rot a little bit.
Rust might also work, Dr. George James.
Yeah, maybe that's
I love that. I've seen the bed rotting videos where you just like lay there all day. So you know what? Every now and then might be good. My stage manager, Jillian, is laughing. I think she's fallen down this TikTok rabbit hole. All right, George James, thank you so much. Always great to see you. Happy 4th.
Thank you so much. Same to you.
Coming up, a shared struggle for military families. When we return, we will show you the efforts underway to help service members who are facing food insecurity, and face-to-face, how a pair of entrepreneurs are working to get people off their phones and bring back in-person connections. This is Morning News Now. Welcome back. Here's something you should know about. Thousands of hotel workers in Southern California are on strike this morning. They're seeking to negotiate a new contract with higher wages. Members of the Unite Here Local 11 union are picketing at more than a dozen hotels across Los Angeles and Santa Monica. The union represents more than 32,000 hospitality workers throughout Southern California and also Arizona. Well, sticking points include a $5 per hour wage increase, as well as access to affordable family health care benefits and stronger workplace protections. In a statement last week, the Hotel Association of Los Angeles said management representatives have been, quote, actively engaged in good faith collective bargaining with the union. So we will see what happens. Well, this Independence Day, many active duty service members and their families are dealing with an unexpected challenge: food insecurity. Military families experience this at a higher rate than the general population. NBC's Jack Brewster has the story.
Let's go, let's roll.
Senior Navy Chief Andre Sutherland runs food pantries like training drills.
Pull up, sir, keep going, please. The line wraps around the corner, all the way down the street.
Sutherland brings his recruits each week to help distribute food and clothing to local veterans and service members at the Midwest Veterans Closet.
Thank you for your service.
But he also relies on the pantry himself.
First time I was shy, I was apprehensive, and you're in the military, everybody think we're making all this money, but we're not.
A 2022 Military Family Advisory Network survey of service members found 1 in 6 respondents are experiencing food insecurity, significantly higher than the general population. Finding military families are economically vulnerable because of factors like frequent moves, high rates of spousal unemployment, and how salary and housing allowances are considered for federal aid.
Let's explain a little bit about how the housing factors into the food insecurity.
Military families receive what's called a basic allowance for housing. The way that SNAP is calculated, it includes that basic allowance for housing in their calculation. And so most military families are not eligible.
It's a problem made worse by the pandemic and a year of high inflation.
I recently met with 12 other food bank CEOs representing food banks in Florida and Texas. They are all saying the same thing: an unprecedented need.
Ooh, very nice.
Navy wife and mom of 2 Josie, who asked us not to use her last name, recently got a part-time job to supplement her husband's salary.
It takes extreme budgeting skills and financial awareness to understand how much you need to save in order to survive.
She's frustrated by what she feels is a lack of government support.
They are aware of the problem, but they don't care. That's why I'm angry. That's why I'm frustrated.
The Department of Defense tells NBC News it takes the issue of food insecurity within the military community extremely seriously and is executing a holistic strategy of policies, programs, and other initiatives. But for some, those changes only go so far.
There we go. I never understood why veterans struggle so much or why military members struggle so much until I seen it for myself. Thank you, ma'am. Food is one thing that we need to survive. That's like a big thing to survive, and me being part of this, it's very rewarding.
family.
Service shifting from the front lines to the home front. Shaquille Brewster, NBC News, North Chicago, Illinois.
A great report there from our friend Shaq on this 4th of July. Well, the height of the pandemic sent everyone typing. Online communication became the go-to for connection. But now 2 entrepreneurs are looking to change that. NBC News reporter Maya Eaglin spoke to the founders of one app working to bring the spark back to meeting in person.
In New York City, a new app is emphasizing the social in social media.
We realized that the hardest part of networking was finding who we were looking for. And that's how we came up with Spark. Spark shows you who's in the room, why they're there, and ultimately helps you go to connect with them in person.
Khalil Simmons and James Bender are the creators of Spark, a new app that connects young professionals face to face. What are you going to see on the app?
You're going to see everyone that's in that space at that time. And you'll be able to see what their mood is and be able to connect with them based on their own ideas.
Both Chicago natives, James and Khalil, say they hope their app will encourage people to use their phones as an icebreaker, but then turn their focus to in-person conversations.
We just want people to connect, build a connection over something substantial, right? Yeah. Whether it be love, friendships, a professional network, whatever the case may be.
A completely chat-free app, one of Spark's main goals is to link users with people who can help them move further in their careers. Waves of layoffs have forced many Americans to look for new jobs this year. By the end of May, companies had announced plans to cut more than 417,000 jobs across the country.
I know, like, in this job market, too, maybe you're looking for a role in beauty and you can be at a job fair or at a recruiting event and just see people who are actually interested in the things that you are. I know for someone like me, I get kind of nervous at networking events and things, so I feel like it just makes it so much easier.
Some reports estimate up to 70% of job opportunities aren't listed online, and up to 80% of jobs are filled by networking, according to CNBC. Young adults fatigued from online networking, now embracing the simplicity of getting back to basics.
That in-person connection steals a more authenticity, and it builds a space where people can understand one another on a deeper level.
A lot of people have conversations about technology and how it might be drawing us apart, but really, we could be using it like this to bring us together.
Maya Eaglin, NBC News.
Coming up, it's like Christmas in July. After the break, we'll take you to California, where some people are celebrating this 4th on the slopes. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is a scary one. 8 people were stuck upside down on a carnival roller coaster in Wisconsin. The ride, called Fireball, look at this, suddenly stopped Sunday at the Forest County Festival in Crandon. According to reports, riders dangled in the air for, get this, about 3 hours while first responders brought them down to safety. Thankfully, actually, no injuries were reported. This comes, though, a day, of course, after we reported on that video at a North Carolina amusement park appearing to show a crack in the support beam of a roller coaster. Now, that ride has been shut down, and they say they are inspecting them every day. But think about all that before you get on a coaster. Well, finally, this morning, it's an Independence Day like no other. NBC News correspondent Maggie Vespa takes us to California, where thousands are celebrating the 4th on the slopes.
Happy 4th of July!
On the holiday devoted to red, white, and blue, a rare chance to shred the white.
You're skiing on the 4th of July?
Yeah, hell yeah.
How wild is this?
So sick. So sick.
Many repping their best stars and stripes.
We're doing our best to not grow up.
Others simply in summer's finest.
I've never skied in the summer, and I've never skied in a bikini.
Against the odds, this 4th of July weekend, the slopes of Northern California's majestic Mammoth Mountain remain primed for an estimated 10,000 patriotic runs. The snowy summer conditions, remnants of a relentless winter, swelling the Golden State's rivers and streams, and at its peak, burying the mountain's chairlifts. Staff had to dig them out.
How intense was that?
Very. There were some that it took us a number of days to get dug out.
Even this lodge was completely submerged.
Some 900 inches of snow piled up here on the summit, shattering previous records and stretching the ski season well into summer.
A silver lining, some say, to a rough winter.
It's great that we can all enjoy it now.
Speaking of enjoying it, We can confirm resistance is futile. Like, this is July. This is wild. Marking an unlikely celebration of America's independence on ice.
Happy 4th of July!
Maggie Vespa, NBC News, Mammoth Mountain, California.
Maggie Vespa, right from the slopes. There we go. That does it for this hour of Morning News Now, but the news continues right now. Stay with us. Right now on Morning News Now, summer swelter. It's shaping up to be one firecracker of an Independence Day, with millions across the South and the West sweating it out this morning, while those on the East Coast are hit with a 1-2 punch of wicked weather. We've got your 4th of July forecast coming up and what you should expect when you head out the door. Violent night tragedy strikes the city of brotherly love, with 5 people now dead and 2 others injured, both of them minors, following another mass shooting, this time in Philadelphia. What we know this morning about the suspected gunman. Standing trial after Kevin Spacey is back in a London courtroom this morning as we begin to hear emotional testimony from his alleged victims. We will take you there in just a moment. And we'll end the hour with an American tradition on this 4th of July. My good friend Harry Smith heads to the ballpark for a crash course in the lost art of scorekeeping. If it's Harry, a ballpark, a lost art, you know it's going to be good. Good Tuesday morning. Happy 4th of July. Thank you for joining us. I'm Savannah Sellers. Joe's off for the holiday this morning. We're going to begin with that extreme heat hitting cities across the nation on this 4th of July. Millions of Americans are under heat alerts this morning, and triple-digit temperatures are in the forecast for parts of the Southwest, Northwest, and Southeast. And as people celebrate Independence Day, they're also trying to find ways, of course, to stay cool, beat the heat, and stay safe. NBC News correspondent Emily Aketa joins us now from Long Island City, New York. Emily, it was a hot one here in New York yesterday. Good morning.
Hey there, Savannah. Happy 4th to you. In just a matter of hours, we'll see more than 60,000 shells launched from barges moving along the East River behind me to light up the sky with the nation's largest fireworks display on this July 4th. But will weather interfere? That's the question on so many Americans' minds across regions experiencing stormy weather and stifling heat that could hamper the holiday. This morning, Americans celebrating the 4th even as wild weather hits the country coast to coast. This massive funnel forming in the northern plains as strong winds and torrential rain drenched parts of the South and Northeast overnight. A 1-2 punch of severe weather for some communities already battered by deadly storms over the weekend. Meantime, the Chicago area still cleaning up from up to 9 inches of rain Sunday.
This is the strongest downpour of rain since 1987.
The unrelenting storms throwing a wrench into 4th of July plans, delaying some fireworks shows in Massachusetts.
The weather does its own thing every year, so sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't.
But New York City's iconic Macy's 4th of July fireworks still hoping to light up the sky. Macy's telling NBC News they've done shows in the rain before, adding in a statement, "We will determine what steps to take in the event of severe weather such as lightning." Meanwhile, 31 million Americans are sweating it out, with heat alerts impacting parts of the South and the West. Authorities say a 57-year-old woman died during an 8-mile hike in the Grand Canyon, with temps topping 100 degrees. Cities like Las Vegas and Phoenix expected to again top triple digits today. The extreme temperatures fueling fast-moving flames in Washington state, with fears that risk of wildfire may increase during July 4th celebrations.
Come south about 5 feet.
In Salt Lake City, for the first time, they're replacing fireworks with a drone show. In Flagstaff, Arizona, a laser light show takes the place of conventional pyrotechnics. But no matter what happens, the American spirit will find a way to celebrate our nation's birthday.
It would be great if it was the 4th, but you know what, though? It's the whole month, it's the whole year. We live in the best country in the world.
And while mild air quality alerts are lingering in parts of the Midwest and in Los Angeles, here in New York City, we are finally seeing air quality return to healthy levels after several days of hazy skies because of those Canadian wildfires and pollution. The New York governor actually encouraging people to enjoy celebrations outdoors. We'll just have to wait and see, Savannah, to what degree with the rain.
Absolutely. Emily Aketa, stay cool, stay dry. Thank you so much and happy 4th. Now let's head to our nation's beaches where we're expecting large crowds for Independence Day. Shore towns are preparing for people to pack to the beaches despite many cities seeing record-breaking heat today. NBC News correspondent Guad Venegas joins us now from Miami-Dade County. Hey, Guad, good morning. So how is the beach there where you are right now preparing for crowds? How crowded do they think it will get?
Savannah, it's hot and it's expected to be very crowded. All beaches in South Florida. The Miami Airport Authority says they expect to serve about 1 million passengers throughout the holiday weekend. Miami Beach Police says they have extra officers walking on bikes and just all across the beaches with many tourists coming in. Hopper.com also says Miami Beach is the #1 beach city location when it comes to hotel bookings and flight destinations for people coming down here. So the sun just rose here and the temperature is well above the high 80s. It's expected to be very busy for all the tourists coming out here, as it always is this 4th of July, Savannah.
Guad, there's also this increased risk of rip currents. If people do plan on getting in the water, what precautions should they take to keep them safe, especially since a lot of people probably will get in the water since it's so hot?
Savannah, there's always a risk of rip currents. In fact, it is the #1 danger for Americans heading to the beach anywhere in the country. Of course, here in Florida, the state with the most beaches and the most coastline in the continental U.S., there's an extra danger because there's more beaches. There's been more than 50, at least 57, that is, deaths due to rip currents in the United States just this year. So what authorities tell people is to always be careful when they go to the beach and they plan to go into the ocean. Make sure you do it near a lifeguard. You can talk to a lifeguard and ask if there's any rip currents around, especially for people that aren't too familiar with the ocean. If someone isn't familiar with a rip current, the best way to think about it, it's like a treadmill in the water where an individual that's in the water will be sucked in away from the beach. And the best way to get out of a rip current is to swim parallel to the beach to get out of that current and then swim towards the beach. But of course, that can be quite difficult for someone that isn't used to it. So that's why the advice is to always check with a lifeguard. Go to the lifeguard tower and ask. There's also signs and flags for individuals that plan to get in the ocean, not just here in Miami Beach, but anywhere else in the U.S., of course, Savannah.
Also, Guad, just generally the extreme heat's posing a problem as so many different cities across the country are seeing triple digits. Remind us, how can we protect ourselves against heat exhaustion if people are planning to spend their holiday outdoors, at the beach, things like that?
Savannah, the advice is simple. Authorities always tell people to stay hydrated. That is the most important thing if you're going to be outside. Remain hydrated. Also, wear sunscreen if you're going to spend time in the sun. And find some shade throughout the day, especially people at the beach. If you're going to be out in the sun at the beach, try to take breaks in the shade. It's very important for people to take these things into consideration because that heat will sneak up on individuals. A lot of tourists who maybe aren't familiar with the way the weather is in the sun will forget to hydrate, and they will forget to find some shade. Of course, that could then take its effect after a few hours. So that's the advice from authorities, Savannah.
All right, Guad Venegas, thank you so much. Stay cool. Well, this morning, millions of Americans are under those heat alerts as we get ready for 4th of July celebrations later on. Angie Lastman is back with us to tell us more. Hey, Angie.
Hey, Savannah. Happy 4th. We, of course, will be talking about the heat alerts, and that's going to pose a problem to folks across the country celebrating today. But so is the rain. So let's start there. We've got your satellite and radar showing where the heaviest of the rain is across the country. It's really focused towards the Dakotas and into Minnesota. We'll see some rain working into parts of Minneapolis here in a bit. We've also got some of those lighter showers focused towards the Northeast. And those are just a couple of the spots that we're going to be watching closely as we head into the afternoon and even the evening hours for some strong storms for folks in parts of the plains and into the Midwest, as well as some isolated to scattered showers and maybe even a couple thunderstorms for parts of the Northeast and much of the eastern half of the country. This is the area that you're going to want to watch for potential for stronger storms. So we're talking strong winds, damaging hail, as well as those isolated tornadoes, all on the table for folks from Minneapolis, specifically down towards Dodge City, extending into Colorado and including Denver for this afternoon and into the evening hours. 14 million people will be at risk for this. We'll also see some general thunderstorms for places like Kansas City. And this is the spot that we're really going to watch for potential issues when it comes to fireworks later this evening. We'll also have that chance for some heavy rainfall working in and bringing us the flooding concerns in those same kind of areas. Places like Omaha, Des Moines, Madison, and up into Green Bay could see some elevated rain chances and rainfall amounts here through the next 24 hours or so. And of course, the heat. This is what's really gotten everybody's attention this week with these temperatures well into the triple digits for the Southwest. Feels like temperatures were earlier this week into the triple digits for much of the Southeast. And we've still got those alerts. You heard Guad talk about it. You heard Emily as well. Raleigh, Jacksonville, Miami, Phoenix, Medford, Portland, all of those major cities are included in this, even Corpus Christi. We've got 31 million people under these heat alerts, and for good reason. So let's talk temperatures. This afternoon, Phoenix really sticks out, right? 112 degrees this afternoon. We've got Portland that could break some records later today. We'll see numerous temperatures there, close to 100 degrees in that region. 97, though, for Portland this afternoon. 94 in Santa Fe and Kansas City heads to 95. The cooler air is really centered behind that front, and it does start to work its way into parts of the plains here as we get into tomorrow. So notice the change in temperature for Denver by tomorrow afternoon as a lot of folks get back to work. Upper 60s, but we hang on to those 90s in New York and upper 80s for Detroit. So we'll start to see some of those temperatures ending up a little more typical. But how about those fireworks, Savannah? Good news. St. Louis, Los Angeles, we'll see dry skies there, but some rain focused in Denver to Minneapolis.
Oh, all right. Mostly good news.
Mostly good news.
Yeah.
We'll take what we can get.
It's a little hot places, but it's July. What do you expect? Angie, thank you so much. Happy 4th.
Happy 4th.
Well, this morning in Philadelphia, police are investigating a mass shooting that left at least 5 people dead and 2 others injured. Police say the gunman was wearing body armor when he opened fire last night in several locations. The second person was also taken into custody in connection with the shooting. NBC News correspondent George Solis joins us now from Philadelphia with the latest. Hi, George. Good morning. What can you tell us about this tragedy?
Yeah, good morning, Savannah. Certainly a harrowing start for many families waking up this 4th of July weekend. New details still emerging. Initially, police say 4 men were killed in this shooting, while a 2-year-old and a 13-year-old were injured in this mass shooting. We are now learning, police saying a 5th man was found inside of a home not far from where that initial shooting took place, and they also believe he died as a result of the mass shooting.
This morning, yet another community in America reeling from a mass shooting after a gunman opened fire in Philadelphia, shooting 7 people, killing 5, and injuring 2 children.
All right, all units use caution. We got somebody with a long gun.
Police say the suspect was armed with an AR-15 style rifle and a handgun, carrying a police scanner and wearing a bulletproof vest. The suspect still firing as police were at the scene.
As they were scooping up the victims and preparing them for transport to the hospital, they also heard multiple gunshots up the street.
Officers chasing down the suspect, finally cornering him in an alley.
He was taken into custody without further incident.
Investigators say they currently do not have a motive in the shootings and do not know if the suspect is connected to any of the victims. Police also taking a second person into custody.
We have another person that we believe acquired a gun somehow, don't know how, and picked up the gun and returned fire in the direction of the shooter that we have in custody.
This incident comes just 1 day after 2 other mass shootings. In Baltimore, where a community block party descended into chaos as gunfire erupted, killing 2 and injuring more than 24 others. And in Wichita, Kansas, 9 people shot and wounded at a nightclub. Back in Philadelphia, the mayor saying he's horrified by the shootings, writing, "My heart is with the loved ones and families of everyone involved, and I send my prayers to the victims."
Yeah, and this crime scene here in Philadelphia is very massive. Authorities will be back out there today canvassing for more evidence. Police have not released the names of those 2 suspects that were apprehended. And again, this morning, still no word on a motive. Savannah?
All right, George, thank you very much. Just heartbreaking. Well, meanwhile, police in Texas are investigating 2 separate shootings in Fort Worth that left at least 3 people dead and at least 11 injured. One of the shootings took place just before midnight, where hundreds of people were gathered for 4th of July festivities. Fort Worth police say the shooting spanned several blocks. No word yet on a motive or how many gunmen were involved. The other shooting took place in a neighborhood east of the downtown area. We will keep you updated on this throughout the day here on NBC News Now. Well, turning now to Israel's largest assault on the occupied West Bank in 2 decades. This morning, UN aid agencies are sounding the alarm over worsening humanitarian conditions at the Jenin refugee camp, which is the scene of Israel's military raid. At least 10 Palestinians have been killed and thousands have been forced to flee. NBC News correspondent Molly Hunter joins us now for more on this. Hi, Molly. Good morning.
Savannah, that's right. And the biggest focus in the last 36 hours, as you just say, is Israel's major operation in the occupied West Bank in Jenin. Those figures that you just said, more than 100 injured, at least 10 people killed. But just in the last hour, I have some breaking news for you. There has been a car incident in Tel Aviv, according to first responders and police. They say several people have been injured. Take a look.
Overnight, residents of Jenin fleeing their homes as the Israeli military continues its biggest operation in 2 decades in the northern Palestinian city in the occupied West Bank. In the early hours of this morning, explosions and gunshots ringing out 24 hours after thousands of Israeli troops entered the city on the ground, backed by multiple drone strikes. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu calling it an extensive counterterrorism operation.
In recent months, Jenin has become a safe haven for terrorists. As I speak, our troops are battling the terrorists with unyielding resolve and fortitude.
After a year of near nightly raids in Jenin, he's been under pressure from the extreme right-wing factions of his government to launch a major operation. The Israeli military says more than 100 suspects have been detained so far, but hundreds of Palestinian militants are still hiding out in Jenin. It has long been a base for armed Palestinian groups. As Israeli commandos pushed into Jenin yesterday, armed bulldozers can be seen tearing up roads, the Israeli military says, to remove hidden explosives. The UN says electricity and water lines were destroyed, and Doctors Without Borders says the Israeli bulldozers blocked ambulances from reaching the injured. In the densely populated city, this Palestinian medic says the Israeli attacks are not differentiating between medics, civilians, or military. This man says it was like World War III. The Palestinian Prime Minister calling on the world to immediately stop the aggression against our people in Jenin, adding it's an attempt to eliminate the Palestinian city.
Now, Savannah, we are getting more information about that attack in Tel Aviv. Police and first responders say that a civilian who was on the scene shot and killed at least one suspect. Hamas has now claimed credit for that attack. Now, we're waiting for more reaction from Washington. The State Department did release a statement yesterday about that major military operation, saying they back Israel's right to self-defense, but also saying it is imperative to take all possible precautions to prevent the loss of civilian lives. Savannah?
All right, Molly Hunter, thank you so much for that breaking update as well. Let's now bring in Dr. Shibli Telhami. He's the Anwar Sadat Professor for Peace and Development at the University of Maryland and non-resident senior fellow at the Brookings Institute. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. For more than a year, I mean, we've been watching this tension simmer and then violence start to uptick in the occupied West Bank. More than 140 Palestinians have been killed in that time. How significant do you find this latest assault by Israel? Are we at risk of seeing this situation spiral further?
First, good morning and happy 4th of July to you and the viewers. Yes, there is a danger of major escalation for sure. As you have noted, actually last year, there's been already an escalation. More Palestinians were killed by Israeli forces last year, according to the UN, than have in almost 2 decades. And this year, on track for many more killed after 56 years of Israeli occupation of those territories with no end in sight and no hope for a better future for most of the millions of Palestinians who live there. So this is a major problem every day of the week. It's not just now, today, but the escalation, you're right, it is on a different scale. When you have about 1,000 soldiers, air power, armored vehicles going through, paving the road, there's so much destruction of civilian property and so much homelessness that results of innocent people. And so far, it's been reported that 3,000 civilians who've fled the camp area with no place to go. So, yeah, there's a humanitarian disaster in addition to the death and destruction that takes place. And it is also an indication of what the far-right members of the Israeli governments have been calling for, these more massive attacks with little regard for civilian casualties. Some of them have even applauded attacks on civilian towns and villages in reaction to the death of Israelis in ways that have burned homes and cars. And interestingly, the fact that Israel is going through its own judicial crisis, with the government pushing for limiting the power of the judiciary, with hundreds of thousands of Israelis protesting that, and the government basically putting a halt to its plan in the short term, that has come at the expense of the Palestinians, because the far right that insist on having these reforms, the prime minister feels that if he is going to stop those reforms, he has to give them more license on the West Bank. The Palestinians pay the price.
You've also recently said, and I want to get into this a little bit with you, that it's time to give up on a two-state solution, that the choice is now between, quote, one apartheid-like state and an equitable state of affairs. Walk us through that.
Well, three colleagues and I have written a long article for Foreign Affairs magazine based on a recent book that we have called The One State Reality. And we have all supported two states. And if that were to be offered tomorrow on the table, we'd say grab it. But the reality of it is that has been based on the idea that it's going to be coming and that occupation is temporary. In fact, what we have seen in the past 56 years is the entrenchment of what we see in one state reality, where Israel really controls the territories from the Jordan River to the sea. Think before now about the Palestinian Authority. We think it's sort of a government, but it really isn't. It's a modest enterprise with limited resources, dependent on Israel, dependent on the United States. Where are they to defend the Palestinians in Jenin, for example? Nowhere to be found. They can't even defend the Palestinians against settlers attacking villages and towns. Many Palestinians consider them to be a subcontractor for Israeli security. But most of that had to do with the settlements, because since Israel occupied those territories in 1967, settlement building, Israeli settlements in the occupied territories that are considered to be war crimes by international law have only expanded. It didn't matter what kind of Israeli government you have, whether you have a liberal or conservative government, they've only expanded. You now have 750,000 settlers in the occupied territories. It makes it hard to envision creating a Palestinian state. In any case, you have an Israeli government that says it doesn't want a Palestinian state. The land belongs to them, and the Palestinians do not belong there.
Dr. Telhami, thank you so much. I know this is such a complicated issue, and you've made it very clear this morning, helped us unpack it. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
And coming up a little later on Morning News Now, skincare secrets on this 4th of July, how to keep your skin looking cool as temperatures heat up. But first, actor Kevin Spacey is back in a London courtroom this morning. We've got the latest on his high-profile sexual assault trial after this. Kevin Spacey is back in court today as the trial against him continues in London. This morning, the court is hearing from witnesses connected to Spacey's first accuser. That accuser describes Spacey as a, quote, predator in emotional testimony. Now, Spacey is facing 12 charges by 4 men relating to alleged sexual assault offenses. He's pleaded not guilty to all charges. NBC News legal analyst and former prosecutor Glenn Kirshner joins us now on this. Hi, Glenn. Thank you so much for joining us on the 4th of July. We appreciate it. So this morning, a former partner of one accuser is giving evidence telling the court that she first heard about Spacey's alleged behavior 6 months to a year into their relationship. Walk us through what the prosecution's doing here in terms of bringing these particular witnesses. I know there was also some video. What else can we expect today, and what do you think of it so far?
Yeah, Savannah, happy 4th to you as well. So anytime you have a sexual assault allegation, the prosecutors or the barristers, as they're called in London's Suffolk Crown Court, where this is being tried, try very hard to find all of the corroborating evidence, all of the evidence separate and apart from the testimony of the alleged victim, to try to sort of bolster, to try to shore up what it is the victim testifies to in court. That's what the prosecutors are doing by bringing in other witnesses to whom the alleged victims reported these sexual assaults by Kevin Spacey, to try to convince the jury that, listen, this is not a fabrication by the alleged victims. They reported it to others. And of course, it's not at all unusual in sexual assault cases for there to be delayed reporting, even delay for a number of years, because there is often shame, there's embarrassment, there's a fear that if you go public with a report against a rich, powerful, influential person, that, you know, it's really going to work to your detriment.
Absolutely. Glenn, I also want to talk about the opposite side of this, the defense here. Cross-examination of this first witness yesterday. Spacey's attorney tried to kind of push back against the alleged victim's testimony, suggesting that the victim was flirtatious with Spacey, also referring to him jumping on the bandwagon. Something similar came up during the cross-examination with the accuser's former partner that we were just discussing also this morning. Walk us through this approach from Spacey's defense team.
Yeah, Savannah, really interesting. In sexual assault cases, generally, you have basically two defenses. Either the alleged victims are fabricating or it was consensual. And that's, I think, what the defense attorney was getting to. You know, there are no TVs in the cameras in the courtroom, so we're relying on the reporting. But the cross-examination included the following question of the alleged victim. Didn't you find Spacey's conduct a bit exciting or a bit naughty? That feels like they're moving toward consent, but other cross-examination made it seem like they were going for fabrication. And I'll tell you, when you present to a jury those sort of competing and sometimes conflicting defenses, juries often don't like it because it feels like the defense is throwing everything up against the wall to see what might stick. So we'll have to see how this plays out.
Yeah, definitely interesting there that it almost sounds like kind of splitting the difference, to your point, a little glimmers of each of those strategies. Glenn Kirshner, thank you so much. We appreciate you this morning and enjoy your holiday. Let's stay on international news now. The riots in France seem to be calming down after town mayors called for an anti-violence rally. NBC News foreign correspondent Ali Arouzi joins us once again with that and other world news. Hey, Ali, good morning.
Good morning, Savannah. That's right. After 5 days of rioting in France over the fatal shooting of a teenage boy by police, the situation finally seems to be calming. On Monday, mayors across France called for rallies to be held outside town halls to protest the violence and the looting. Nonetheless, President Macron has asked his interior minister to keep a massive police presence on the streets. In Japan, has been given the approval by the International Atomic Energy Agency to release treated radioactive water from the tsunami-wrecked Fukushima plant back into the ocean, despite fierce resistance by Beijing and some locals. The IAEA says the release of the water would have a negligible radiological impact on people and the environment. And finally, scientists have discovered a deep-sea octopus nursery off the coast of Costa Rica. The nursery was found about 9,000 feet below the sea's surface, where scientists were able to see an active nursery and witness babies hatching. They believe that the octopus they've seen is a new species without an ink sac. They are truly remarkable creatures, Savannah.
Octopus nursery. I didn't even know about those. That is awesome. Ali, thank you so much. Very cool. Well, now to an amazing rescue out of California. We've all been in situations where having our cell phones really helped out when we were in a pinch. But get this, for one hiker, her iPhone was literally a lifesaver. Here's NBC News correspondent Erin McLaughlin with more.
Hey there. This satellite emergency SOS feature is potentially life-saving tech. It's credited for helping rescue crews reach more people in need when they're out on remote trails. And it could come in handy when you need it most.
This remarkable rescue from a remote area of the Los Angeles National Forest made possible by modern-day tech. About halfway through a 4-mile hike last week, Juana Reyes fell down an incline, fracturing her leg.
The pain was so unbearable, and my foot was swelling to maybe twice the size of its normal.
On a trail like this one, Reyes didn't have cell service, but she did have an iPhone 14, which boasts a new feature, Emergency SOS.
The feature, which is only on the latest iPhone model, can contact first responders, allowing you to let them know what the problem is, where you're located, even how many people you're with. All through satellite connection, no cell service required. It's the third satellite call LA County Search and Rescue says they've received this month. Last December, LA County Sheriff's deputies rescued a couple after their car spun off a cliff, falling nearly 300 feet.
We were completely upside down.
Their shattered iPhone sending the emergency text.
It said, collision detected. Would you like us to report it to emergency services?
Their coordinates sent to rescue crews who hoisted them to safety. And just this past May,
we received a 911 text
stated that there was approximately 10 hikers lost in the area.
A group of teenagers had been stranded in Southern California's Santa Paula Canyon. One teen's iPhone sent the SOS message that led rescuers down an hour-and-a-half hike into the canyon, where the group was found safe.
They certainly were not going to get out of there on their own. It's a game changer, frankly.
For a few $100, personal location beacons can send a distress signal to rescuers no matter where you are, and without a subscription fee. Similar products are available from Garmin, and certain Android phones will soon offer satellite communication. Still, for Reyes, it's comforting to know her phone is a lifeline.
It's potentially saved you.
Yes, it was literally the only way that we got communication out for EMS.
If you have the iPhone 14, again, that's the only model that has this feature. There's really no setup required. It will work automatically. We should also note that Android phones will offer satellite communication in the future as well. Back to you.
Wow, incredible. Erin, thank you so much. Coming up, trouble off the shores of New York as a pair of shark encounters on Long Island prompt fresh warnings for holiday beachgoers to keep those eyes peeled. We have more on that right after the break. We're back now with danger in the water on this 4th of July. 2 teens were attacked yesterday at separate beaches here in New York. At least one was confirmed to have been a shark bite. This comes as millions across the country, of course, headed to the beach today to celebrate the 4th of July. NBC News senior national correspondent Stephanie Gosk joins us now from Long Island with the latest. Hey, Stephanie, good morning.
Hey, Savannah, good morning. You know, right here on Robert Moses Beach, where one of those attacks took place, lifeguards are not letting people in the water, although it's a little unclear whether that's because of rip currents or because of this attack yesterday. They do have drones up in the air looking for sharks, and we definitely see lifeguards sort of on guard here. But the beaches are filling up. This is one of the most popular beaches in the New York City area. This story, however, may give beachgoers some pause. This morning, fresh shark fears off the coast of New York, prompting new warnings for beachgoers heading out to celebrate the July 4th holiday.
Shark attack at the lifeguard station, Kismet Beach. Rescue's been notified.
2 incidents happening just 7 miles apart. On Monday, Long Island police responded to calls of a shark attack at Kismet Beach on Fire Island. Police say a 15-year-old boy was surfing when he was bitten, puncturing his left heel and toes.
He was able to swim to shore, where our Marine Bureau and a Good Samaritan were able to assist him, give some assistance, and get him over to a local hospital where he's recovering with non-life-threatening injuries.
Earlier in the day at Robert Moses State Park, officials say a 15-year-old girl was treated for 3 small bite wounds on her left leg.
We heard a whistle blow, screaming everyone to get out.
It's unknown what bit her. Authorities say a state park's drone was immediately deployed, but was unable to detect any, quote, dangerous marine life, including sharks, in the area. Though shark attacks are still very rare, there have been multiple encounters this summer, including 3 in Florida in a little over a week. And back near Long Island, there's been a recent increase of tiger and sand sharks swimming closer to shore.
I think it's crazy. There's been a lot of shark attacks happening on the beaches. There's been a lot of warnings at sharks.
A warning to those headed out to catch a wave and soak up the sun this holiday week. Be aware of your surroundings.
If you see something that looks like some type of shark or one of these bunker fish that they swim in these pods, it's probably a good idea to leave the water and notify some type of authority.
Researchers at the University of Miami did this interesting study last year. They were curious whether or not sharks were deterred by active coastlines or cities if they tried to steer clear of them. They actually found the opposite. They found that sharks are attracted to those areas, but they said it's good news because that means sharks are in the water. They are in the ocean, and they're not really biting people. These attacks are incredibly rare. It would be like winning the bad ocean lottery if you get bit, Savannah.
Yeah, yesterday Sam Brock was covering this from Florida and goes, which would you rather? Like, is this a trick question? Stephanie, thank you so much. I guess
I don't know.
Stay out of the water. Stay cool. Good to see you. Happy 4th. Well, thousands of hotel workers in Southern California are hitting the picket lines this 4th of July holiday. The union representing local hospitality workers are demanding better working conditions as they seek a new contract. NBC News correspondent Nyla Charles joins us now with more on this. Hey there, good morning. So these workers, they're members of what's called the Unite Here Local 11. That's their union. Explain to us how this got to this point of actually going on strike. What are they looking for here in this new deal with management?
Well, first, Savannah, you cannot ignore the timing of this, right? This is one of the busiest travel weekends of the year, and these hotel workers are going on strike when a lot of people are coming to Los Angeles looking for a stay at a hotel. Well, this is what they're demanding. They make about $20 to $25 an hour. They want a $5 raise right now, also asking for annual raises and more benefits as well. They say ever since COVID, they've been understaffed and underpaid, and that's why when you go to a lot of hotels these days, you're seeing housekeeping services available upon request. And that speaks to the shortage of workers that hotels are already facing, even leading up to this strike. So listen to what the union told us about why they're demanding this right now.
The hotel executives have been raking in money since the middle and beginning of the pandemic. They've gotten $15 million of bailouts from the government, while the workers, the dishwashers, the servers, the housekeepers are barely scraping by.
So there's concerns, really echo concerns from workers across the country who say their wages aren't stacking up when you look at inflation. Of course, now these hotel workers are asking the hotels themselves for more money, given the fact that they're bringing in a lot of profits right now. Savannah?
Let's talk about the other side of this, Nyla. What are we hearing from hotel companies, hospitality companies about these negotiations?
Hotel companies say even though they've offered these workers half of the raise they asked for, they still have no deal. At this point, negotiations are at a standstill, Savannah. The hotel companies are accusing the union of not coming to the bargaining table for days now. So now in just several hours, we'll see thousands of hotel workers across Southern California striking just as people are coming into the city looking for a place to stay for the 4th of July. Savannah?
All right, Nyla, thank you so much. It's definitely going to be interesting to see as this unfolds over such a busy travel period. We appreciate you covering this. Well, coming up, it's time to slip into your summer skin on this 4th of July. We've got some top tips on how you can tweak your routine to keep a glow that just won't quit. That is up next. So summertime is all about concerts, right? Big stars like Beyonce, of course, Taylor Swift, taking over stadiums across the country, really across the world. Consumers are spending big to get into those doors. But with so many ticket resellers out there, how can you make sure the tickets you're grabbing are the real deal? Our friend Vicky Nguyen has more on what you need to know before clicking buy.
From sporting events to music festivals and highly anticipated concerts, this summer, you'll find no shortage of live entertainment. Live Nation expecting another busy concert season after a record 44 million fans attended 11,000 events last summer. But tickets, not always easy to come by. It's me. Hi. Late last year, Taylor Swift fans crashed Ticketmaster's pre-sale for the singer's Eras tour.
Didn't get tickets to the Taylor Swift concert.
Fans turning to secondary sites and social media for tickets, some getting scammed instead. The Better Business Bureau receiving more than 18,000 complaints about event ticket sales since January 2022.
He really seemed so genuine. He even offered to meet me in person, and that was a huge trust builder with me.
Amelia McCall says she encountered a real-life anti-hero on Facebook Marketplace. Even though the platform doesn't allow the buying and selling of tickets, McCall says she saw a post offering a pair of tickets to Swift's Atlanta show for $180 each. Using Google Pay, McCall sent money to the seller for just one ticket, asking them to transfer it before she paid for the second.
When did you realize it was a scam?
After I sent him money and he blocked me immediately.
McCall ended up losing her money. Google Pay encourages users to only send money to people they know. The company says it isn't responsible for peer-to-peer disputes, stating in its terms of service, fraudulent payments may result in the loss of your money with no recourse.
Consumers feel
that they don't have a fair chance to get tickets.
Gary Adler is the executive director and counsel for the National Association of Ticket Brokers, or NATB. What are some red flags when it comes to ticket scams?
The big thing is for people to do their homework, make sure they're buying from a reputable professional reseller, but also do your homework on pricing of tickets.
Use a credit card instead of a peer-to-peer payment app and ask if the reseller offers a return policy. Adler says all NATB members offer a 200% money-back guarantee. Double your money back.
Double your money back.
So before clicking buy, read the fine print to learn what kind of protection the service provides. Popular sites like StubHub, Vivid Seats, and SeatGeek all offer money-back guarantees.
If you're already hesitant about it, I would say just go with your gut.
Erica Anius learned this lesson the hard way after she and her cousin tried to buy tickets on Twitter to see Suga, a member of the popular K-pop boy band BTS. While the social media site prohibits the sale of unauthorized tickets, someone was offering 2 tickets for $440. Ania says she agreed to transfer the money through Zelle.
They actually sent video of the tickets on Ticketmaster, and so they seem legit.
After she sent the funds, Ania says she and her cousin were blocked by the seller and they never received the tickets.
I lost the money and now I can't go to the concert.
They reported the incident to Zelle, which doesn't offer a protection program for authorized payments, as stated in its service agreement. The company recommending sending money only to friends, family, and others that you know and trust. Other expert tips when buying resale tickets: avoid ads. Don't just click on the first search result you see. Only work with sellers who share the location of seats before purchase so you can verify they exist at the venue. Also, check the date and time on the tickets. And if you can't have immediate access to them, make sure the seller discloses when they'll ship or when you can pick them up. Advice to help you shake it off when it comes to scams.
Our thanks to our friend Vicky. Now, if you do think you found yourself in a scam, here's a few things you can do. Report it to the Federal Trade Commission or the Better Business Bureau, or file a complaint with your state's attorney general. Also, a good tip: call or visit the box office ahead of time to verify those online tickets. Now let's switch gears here. So with the heat wave gripping the country, many of us are headed to the beach or the pool to try to keep cool. But the change in weather, the increase in sunlight, and getting in all those different types of water can wreak havoc on your skin. Well, Dr. Diane Burson is a dermatologist, and she joins us now to help sort it all out. Doctor, good morning. Happy 4th of July. Thank you for being with us.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. All right, let's start with the basics. And I am going to say, I think I'm pretty good at this. Sunscreen is a year-round moisturizer, first layer for me. I usually wear SPF 50, but tell us what we should be looking for in a sunscreen. And if somebody's just adding it during the summertime, what should they know?
Well, certainly we always encourage our patients to use sunscreen every day of the year. But especially in the summer, the ultraviolet rays are a little bit stronger. You're more likely to have sunburns. Certainly, you're going to have more pigmentation and tanning. And of course, it contributes to skin cancer. But using sun protection every morning is essential. And usually, we recommend that our patients use a topical antioxidant in the morning layered under the sunblock, and that will help also reduce the sun damage and the inflammation. You want to look for an SPF of at least 30, but remember the SPF is only talking about UVB protection, which is burning protection. So you want to look for something that's labeled broad spectrum. And usually most of the mineral sunblocks will be broad spectrum because the zinc oxide protects against A and B.
Now, for people who are concerned about the fact that adding something else in addition to their moisturizer or serums or whatever, maybe it could clog their pores. And I know a lot of times even just the sweat and all that kind of stuff can make you see some other skin issues, acne, things like that you might not have in other parts of the year. What can we do about that?
You are so on target. Basically, if you have oily skin or acne-prone skin, the perspiration and the heat are all going to mix together on the surface of your skin with your natural oils and make you more likely to break out and make you more likely to have clogged pores. So you might want to change up that routine a bit. For instance, at night, if you were using a moisturizing cream, you might want to switch to a lotion. And if you were using a lotion, you might want to switch to a gel or a serum. And serums have become much more popular. They can still hydrate the skin and restore your barrier, but they're not greasy and heavy and won't lead to breakouts. So if you can get a serum that has hydrating elements such as hyaluronic acid or glycerin, that will keep your skin protected and hydrated, but it won't be greasy and clog your pores. And you can also add in a cleanser that contains salicylic acid for the face, which will help unclog the pores. And for the body, if you're developing body acne, you can add a cleanser that contains benzoyl peroxide.
So for somebody who's hearing all these different words and maybe they're like not in a great routine right now, what would be like your top 2 things if you're going to add or change during these months if this is overwhelming?
You know, the top 2 things I think are the same year-round: sun protection in the morning and a retinoid at night to reverse the sun damage and protect the skin. I do like to add in an antioxidant in the morning and then hydration with the retinoid at night. What's going to change is actually the formulation or the vehicle in which those antioxidants and retinols are placed. So again, you might switch to a lighter vehicle, to a gel or a serum rather than a heavy cream, but the ingredients remain the same.
Dr. Burson, great tips here. Really good to see you. Thank you so much. Happy 4th. Everybody, wear your sunscreen.
Thank you. Have a wonderful 4th.
Thanks, you too. Coming up, my good friend Harry Smith takes us to, where else? The baseball diamond on this 4th of July for a quick lesson in the lost art of scorekeeping. This is so cool. Stick around. It's up next. Welcome back. Twitter will face new competition Thursday when Meta, the parent company of Instagram and Facebook, releases essentially a rival platform. It is called Threads, and it's described as a text-based conversation app. But screen grabs make it look a lot like Twitter. The App Store describes Threads as a place where communities come together to discuss everything from the topics you care about today to what will be trending tomorrow. This comes after Twitter owner Elon Musk over the weekend had announced those new restrictions, like a limit on how many tweets people can view. And then, of course, there's the fact that Musk and Meta boss Mark Zuckerberg have agreed to a physical cage fight in the past. So the rivalry continues. Finally, this hour, this is really cool. Keeping score at a baseball game is a long-time honored tradition of America's pastime. Some consider it to be a lost art. Well, NBC's Harry Smith recently caught a game at one of the nation's most historic ballparks for a lesson in this art.
The Reading Fightin' Phils play in a stadium built in 1951. It's a time machine. Inside, the walls are adorned with images of players who once labored here and made it to and even thrived in the majors. It's a great game, baseball, but it's even better when you know the score. Better still, if you know how to keep score.
It's a detailed history of the game within the game as it's going on.
Eric Fenning keeps track of every ball and strike here, every hit and walk, every at-bat, with a code of numbers and letters and even colors.
What's all this? That's my battle armor. Yeah? Each one of these has a specific job for here, whether it's ending an inning. I code balls, strikes differently. Each one of these things are my little babies. I gotta have them.
Keeping score is an arcane art form dating back to the 1800s and due, we think, for a comeback. Writer and podcaster for Defector, Kelsey McKinney, agrees.
I think we're all kind of looking for ways to engage a little deeper in the world around us, and keeping score lets you do that. It allows you to kind of like keep careful track and pay attention, which is something we don't have a lot of space for in the world anymore.
A devoted scorekeeper since childhood, McKinney has her own scorebook. She's lost count of the number she has filled.
So I'm doing something fun here that you might like. F8, because he popped, he went out to center, but then I'm writing down that it was a productive out because the runner moved.
That is so good. Each player on the field is assigned a number. The pitcher is 1, catcher 2, first base 3. A strikeout is a K, a walk BB for base on balls.
Punch him out. Right, Alvarez goes down looking.
You got your K backwards?
Yeah, I better believe it.
Scoring demands your full attention. It's a way to get happily lost in the game.
For those of us who spend a little bit too much time or maybe way too much time on our phones scrolling.
Yeah, all of us.
Is this like an antidote to that?
I think it helps you focus on one thing. Right? It would be easy to sit here and take photos with my phone or check my phone to see what my friends are doing. We're used to reaching for our phone all the time. And if you have to keep score, you need both your hands. so there's nowhere to put your phone.
I don't even know where my phone is now.
Lost in Baseball sounds like the title of a book or a place you'd want to spend more time.
Thanks to Harry Smith for that report. If you want to give scorekeeping a shot, you can try it during this upcoming weekend's MLB Sunday leadoff game between the Texas Rangers and Washington Nationals. Well, coverage begins at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. You can watch it exclusively on Peacock. Speaking of peacocks, we're going to send you off with our very patriotic peacock here in the studio. That does it for this hour of Morning News Now. The news continues right now. Happy 4th of July.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.